Because you didn't prepare in that sense. The only thing that you can do as the is for you to look for questions. Basi section 1 tafuta question useme hiyo ndio itaulizwa.
Yeah, one
Lakini
question
ya huyo swali ya huyo mtu then tutasaidiana akishajibu tunaongezea 20 then move to the next section. Tunangojea mtu ajibu yake ndio muendelee na conversation. Of course.
Tena tu umejipanga.
Swali yako. Swali yako si mrefu. Okay. Swali ni yako.
Hi guys, welcome to Raw and Real. I'm here with the girls and welcome you to our show. Hi girls! Hi! Introduce yourselves. Let's start with this person seated beside me.
So I am Joy Ushe. I'm all the way from Zimbabwe. I'm a student here at African Nazarene University and I'm studying counseling psychologist. I'm also a musical artist, so there's that.
Hi guys, my name is Joanjiro, alias Waishi. Waishi is YSHI. I am also a counseling psychology student at African Nazarene University, and I'm also a president of the Rotaract Club of African Nazarene University. I'm also a digital creator.
Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis Michelle, alias Kiki, K-I-K-Y. I'm a student at African Nazarene University, pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Counseling Psychology. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Ondiba. I am a student at African Nazarene University. I'm also doing counseling psychology and I am a Rotaractor. Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Jewel Mohoro. I study at African Nazarene University pursuing counseling psychology.
Okay, that's nice guys. And I'm Daisy Islands. I'll be your host for this episode. This is episode 1. It's actually our first episode and we're here to discuss about mental health. I don't know if you're ready, ladies.
Yes.
Ready to discuss mental health. By then all of them are psychologists. You say that?
Yes.
All of you are psychologists. How is that taking you, by the way? Joy, how is that taking you?
It's quite a journey. It has its ups, its downs, but I'm enjoying it. I think the passion really drives us. Yeah.
It's all about passion?
Yes.
Okay. And how about those saying that it's not a marketable course? What do you have to say to them, Jewel?
I feel like it's a marketable course actually. It's something that is growing, and for now, like mental health is growing in our country, and when time comes, everything will be fine. So yes.
Okay, wow. That is nice. So welcome to the show. Our co-hosts, these are my co-hosts, and all our viewers, welcome. So we'll get right to it. This goes to Lisa. Lisa, hi.
Hi.
As a future are you future psychologist or are you psychologist already?
I can say we are future psychologists because we are in the process of becoming psychologists since we are all students. Yeah.
Okay, so as a future psychologist, how would you define mental health and why do you think it's important for Africans to understand it beyond just the absence of mental illness?
Thank you so much, Daisy, for that question. That's a very good question because it gives us an opportunity to unpack our main topic. And I define mental health as a state of physical, emotional, social, as well as spiritual well-being. Basically, it's being whole as a person. And mental health goes just beyond mental illnesses, yeah? Because sometimes we live with the daily struggles, the traumas that you carry on your back, the stressors of everyday life. And so mental health is just being well as a whole person, encompassing the whole person basically. And in the African context of mental health, I'd say, just as I said before, it goes beyond mental illnesses. You know, sometimes as Africans we say mental health is madness basically. We dwell so much on the illnesses, and it's true, yes, mental health also has the aspect of illnesses, but it's not all that all the time, because you'd find some people wataita, they will call people, wame cheesy, mwenda wazimu, you know, but that's not all the case every time. So yeah, mental health is just being whole, just being sane, just being able to cope up, just being able to have that self-awareness, just being able to live life and live life to the fullest that you can.
Now this goes to everyone. She has said that mental health is not just about being mad or not being mad. So where do we draw the line between madness and, mental unwellness or something of the sort? Maybe if I see someone walking in the street, eating that, is this person mentally unwell or is he mad? Where do we draw the line? Phyllis, you can help us there.
Well, personally, I believe there's no term like madness, or rather, I define madness as a synonym to anger. So even that person who is maybe eating that, probably it's mental. It's of course something to do with the mental. So I believe that madness is just anger, But in psychology, I don't believe there's madness just because maybe your brain's not functioning normally. Yeah.
Okay, and in Africa is a highly spiritual continent. So when we see someone behaving in a certain type of way, the first thing that comes to people's minds is amerobo. So where do we as Africans draw the line? Do you first believe in the spiritual part of it, or is it that we are not educated or exposed enough to understand the difference? What is it that Africans do not know?
I think for one, I'd say lack of awareness, because that's the biggest issue we're facing in African cultures and African continents. If we compare our own continent, Africa, with the Western culture, we're very different. Western culture, they've been so used to counseling that anyone can go and see a counselor and nobody will feel like, oh, you're doing something wrong, or you're rich because you're seeing a counselor. It's not the same in Africa. In Africa, if you go and see a counselor, oh, kona shida, or you may be mad, or you're from a rich family, which shouldn't be the case. So awareness is usually the first step, and collaboration between both us as counselors, schools, in any mental institutions, or even health institutions, and even churches. Because the same way we read our Bible, inside it there's a lot of psychology in it. It's just that we sometimes end up viewing it as very spiritual and rather using them as life lessons. Because also in the Bible there are people who had cases of mental issues, but they didn't term it as mental issues because it wasn't well put then. But right now I think we're very woke enough to be able to talk about it in spaces. So I think the first step is having a collaboration of awareness between all of us.
Recently, on the day that Baba died, another journalist died, I think the same day. What is his name? Kimani Mbugo.
Yes.
And I think he was bipolar. Is that a psychological issue?
Yes, it is a disorder.
Yes. And I have not really had anyone address it. Maybe because I've not followed up Sana, but I've not had people talk about what is bipolar. Is that a mental health? What causes it? What can be done about it? So that other people may know how to treat such situations. Because what I've seen as a person is most people are mocking the situation. No one is actually helping out. Because I assume there are many people out there who are maybe going through the same thing or something similar. So you as psychologists, what do you have to tell the public about treating people with mental disorders? Yeah. I think Ushe can take that.
Jewel is actually very passionate about clinical psychology, so I think she will have a much better, response to that.
Okay. I'd say that people should not ignore them, right? Because these are people who want to be seen, who want to be heard at this point, but people are like, we'll go a bit, I'll go normal at this point. And you find people, if you don't listen to people, they kind of isolate themselves, and this can increase depression. Because he actually committed suicide, and you could tell there was a lot of things that was happening in his mind. He felt like he was a burden to the country or to his father because he was from rehab, right? And I feel like he felt like a lot was happening, and if people were not judgmental at that point, if people were listening actively to him, if people were there for him the way he wanted it to be, I think that's where the difference was. And to a point, there are always signs, before someone does suicide, there's always like social withdrawals, hopelessness, and I think these were the signs that we missed out when it came to him. Yes.
Okay. And Jewel, why do you think mental health conversations are often treated as Western stuff more than African? We think hizo ni vitu za wazungu, haituhusu sisi as Africans. Why do you think those conversations are not taken seriously in Africa?
As Boshi had said, like Africans, we are more of spiritual. Mostly we follow our tribal, like cultural ways, and anything that comes new to us, we see it as this is from the devil. That is very new. We are like, ni 666 tunaletewa. And I think that's what is really disturbing us Africans. And because we find Americans, a lot of them actually are diagnosed with ADHD actually, but for us Africans, ukiambiwa uko na ADHD, wewe unaenda fasting. And I feel like it's okay being spiritual, but let us combine spirituality with our medication. Let's take things seriously, because not everything is brought by the devil, not everything is brought by curses, by our families, but some things are just hereditary, some things we should be so that's the difference between us and the Western people. The Western people are very they go head to head with it. But for us, we really, really avoid it at all costs, and we avoid being seen going to Mathare. Even if we find someone really true, as you
about Mathare.
Mathare is a very interesting place. I feel like people avoid stigma associated with Mathare because when not everyone who has mental illness is in Mathare. That is something we should know about. Because yes, there's a hospital inside, there's a rehab inside, and we shouldn't like stigmatize those people because they are still human beings. They are still our brothers, our sisters. Because you can find your uncle has schizophrenia and hujuangi, and you are there bashing other people online that they are cursed or something. But this is something that we should accommodate them. Let's all I prefer awareness is the best thing. Let's educate people about mental health, and with that African nations will move very fast.
Yes. That's good. I think it's good that we have addressed the Mathare part. Personally, I grew up knowing that Mathare is anywhere mad people are. Till today, honestly. So this conversation is going to help a lot of people. So as psychology students, what do you think you can do to, sensitize and make people more aware of mental health in Kenya? It started even in Kajiado, in Nazarene, then in Kajiado, then Nairobi, then stretching out to Kenya, even to the continent. What can you as students do to make people more aware of this mental health issue? Because we have addressed the fact that Africans are not exposed. We are under-informed, let me say. So, President of Rotaract.
Yes. What do you think? I think for one is leading by example. We are not here today to just talk about it if we are not doing it. So leading by example, as students who are studying psychology is the first thing, because by educating others what about mental health is, it is a way of reducing the stigma. That's through workshops, that's through such kind of panel sessions or interviews, it can be seminars, and it can start as small as just your community. If we agree, like today we're doing just Ole Kasasi, it will start there, but it will raise awareness as time goes by. So I think every day is a step closer. Previously I talked about collaborations. In Rotaract spaces, we've had a collaboration on SGBV with the Ole Kasasi police post and the community around there. It was a big mental health kind of campaign that impacted a lot of people around that area. So I think more collaborations will help if we agree that we're going to have a mental run or a mental walk to champion mental health. Us as Nazarene, multimedia, choir, all the universities or colleges around, that will also raise a lot of awareness. So starting by leading by example is usually the first step.
I think I'd like to add on to that it also has to do with us making the whole conversation about mental health more relatable. I think as future psychologists, sometimes we focus a lot on like the theories and all those big complicated words, but we need to find a way where we can make it something relatable, help people understand that mental health is part of everyday life. If it means using language that they are more familiar with, maybe we don't even have to sit and talk like this. We could use storytelling or art. There are so many different mediums we can use. So I think it's about also being down to earth as the people that are like pioneering this whole movement of mental health, going down to where the people are and finding a way for them to be able to relate with it. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And in this sessions or initiatives that we are taking, what are some of the misconceptions we are going to address in this session? Like what do Africans believe that is not really true, the myths and misconceptions that are causing us to ignore mental health or dismiss it? Felix, I think you can help us there. One of this misconception you've had that is just crazy. Number one, you say you don't believe in madness.
I honestly don't believe in madness because, as I told you earlier, everything starts in the mind. From when you're very young, it starts with the mind. So even that person maybe who is eating that or doing crazy stuff, they're not mad, they're just sick mentally. It's just that it hasn't been diagnosed. But the myths and misconceptions about mental health, especially in Africa, there's so many. And one of them is, of course, mental health. When you're mentally ill, you're cursed. Maybe you've annoyed the ancestors, you've been bewitched, and such stories. Another belief is that those illnesses are for rich people. Sometimes on TikTok and you see people saying that, depression you go to matajiri, OCD you go to matajiri, and how can you be poor and you're depressed? But in real sense, actually poverty can cause depression. When you can't afford basic needs, of course you're going to be depressed. And then, of course, as up here is all mental illness, ni mambo za wazungu, they were brought by our ancestors, even our own parents. When you tell them to go, you want to go for therapy, they tell you, prepare school fees, Wi-Fi, get internet, watch videos YouTube, you will get well, Those are some of the misconceptions.
Well, I think the point of it, these things are for rich people. Most people really believe that, especially Christians, they usually quote this verse at Mungu hawezi kupatia kitu huwezi handle. So they think that God finds it too much for poor people. He just gives it to rich people. They don't have a problem with food, they don't have a problem with where to sleep, so they can at least afford to pay for things like. But is autism a mental health issue?
Yes.
It is. Most people believe that autistic kids come from rich families because it takes a lot to actually raise an autistic child. So that is actually a misconception that we Africans believe that shida zingine ni za matajiri peke yake, maskini wacha extra burden, but there are poor people who struggle with things like mental health and stuff. So any other misconception? I think, Jewel, have you had any misconception around?
Obviously, like when anyone hears you study psychology, they're like, nisome akili, nasema nini? Like you're not you don't read minds. Psychology, counseling psychology is different. We can't read minds, and that's something I think I should address people. We don't read minds. Wasiogope kutuangalia kwa macho. We can't read
what I'm thinking right now. Wow.
Yeah, also to add on that, they think that psychologists are manipulators, manipulate people. But when we look at you, we're already psychoanalyzing you, diagnosing you.
Yeah, I think that's a
big issue with people who studied psychology, because I'm getting into spaces where maybe you meet someone, it's not even a professional space, you just want to make friends, but the first thing they ask you after you've told them like you study psychology, they're like, you know what I'm thinking, right? Psychoanalyze me, right? So you know what I want to do next. I'm like, no, it's not like that. We barely psychoanalyze people unless we are forced to, or you are in a session with a person. But we avoid, because once you normalize psychoanalyzing everyone, I doubt if it would make any difference. Because all of us, we are all having faults. We are not like perfect. I'm also not perfect. So if I start psychoanalyzing everyone, I'd see more of the faults than the actual perfection. We all believe we are perfect in our own ways. So it's not right for us to psychoanalyze everyone, but also we will appreciate people taking us for us beyond just our careers.
Well, personally, I thought you guys psychoanalyze because I once played a game with you and she won it. And her team more of a mind because it was a game of psychology. She chose rabbit and then I chose wall. Because the rabbit was supposed to go over the wall and I lost. And then she was like, I am a psychologist. How am I supposed to not to believe that you psychoanalyze people? How did you know our whole team is planning a wall? And then you choose rabbit to win. We shall investigate for that.
We can predict, actually. For your behaviors, we can predict what's next. So I think that's how I was able to beat you in that game, because you are very predictable.
Okay, Lisa, any misconceptions?
I'd like to just repeat what Kiki has said about the kurogwa, about the uchawi, bewitching, witchcraft. You know, you'd find many people, many families, for example, they have an alcoholic in their family, and so you hear them say, you know, it's from generation, ni kama sisi tulirogwa, juu baba yake, baba ya baba yake, baba ya baba ya baba yake, you know, so they think it is something that is in the family. But one thing that, just as we said about awareness, one thing about even drugs, for example, is that it's not necessarily kurogwa or it's not witchcraft, it's just a genetic composition, yes, that there's a gene that you'd find there's someone who will take liquor today, tomorrow, and go to work the following day and is okay, and vows to never touch liquor, and true to the word, watachana na pombe kabisa. But there's someone who will take today and they are hooked for life, and it's not necessarily because kwa familia yao kuna hiyo urogi, or it's not that walifanyiwa, you know, it's just that there's a gene that is more open to alcohol than another. So the misconception about uchawi, in high school I read a book called Memories We Lost. And they were talking about this child who was, they call it bewitched, So they did this very crazy traditions. They burnt this child over fire just to try and get rid of the spirit. Was it a spirit that was in the child? But if we understood that some of these things are just mental, and just like you have diabetes, you'll take yourself to the hospital, and you hope to get better and you hope to recover, the doctors will help you. It's the same thing with mental health. And as I said, there's mental health, and in the mental health there's mental illness now. Now when we're talking about the bipolar that you mentioned, about the schizophrenia, the big words, that's when now you go and see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, to try and have a better situation, to try and better your life. So mental health, going for therapy, going for counseling is not a weakness, guys. It's not a weakness. Actually, it's a strength, because you're going to get resilience. You're going to try and have a better life for yourself. No one is ever happy when they're sick. Something as light as homa can put you down at ukose kwenda job. So why don't we treat mental health and mental illness with the same weight that we treat diseases like diabetes, like even headache?
Wow, okay. That's nice. As we finish on misconceptions, Ushe, are there any misconceptions from Zim?
From Zim. The funny thing
thing is, I feel like across Africa, we have so much more similarities than differences. So everything that is mentioned here, it's exactly the same, even in Zimbabwe. The whole, I think there's a big thing of, if you have mental illnesses, it's a demon. You need to take you to the pastor, they must pray for you. Exactly. So there's that whole belief that, if you have mental illnesses, we need to pray for you. But then you find, like she said, someone has diabetes or a headache. The first thing that they will do is they will look for medicine, or they'll go to the doctor. They don't say it's a demon. And so I think that's where the misconception comes in, because people don't realize that mental health is just as important as physical health. And even if you fail to take care of that mental health, your physical health can also be affected.
Wow, okay. That's a whole lot of misconceptions. We need help in Africa. Okay. Now, talking about causes and contributing factors of mental health, I think I'll direct this question to Phyllis. What are some of the common causes of mental health challenges among university students or young adults in Africa?
Well, we have the obvious one, relationships, of course. For young people, we're at that age where we crave intimacy and others want to be isolation. And you find there are people when they get isolated, they feel, they see others being taken out on dates and being taken, being with their boyfriends and girlfriends, and they feel like, I really want that, and it really troubles them, and maybe they start thinking that they're not worthy. So that's the first one. There's also substance abuse because of peer pressure, which is also very common. We have seen it even in our university, where somebody just comes maybe from their home, they have never tasted alcohol, they have never been to a club, but once they get there, they meet with friends who influence them to take part in these activities, and you find that they start taking substances like bang, of course, alcohol, which sometimes triggers conditions like schizophrenia.
What exactly is schizophrenia?
Wow. Clinical psychologist.
You will tell us after Phyllis is done. So my question is, does mental health cause substance abuse, or does substance abuse cause mental health?
It's both.
True.
When you're depressed, you run to take alcohol so that it's like you forget. Maybe that's where you're not thinking about your problems. And again, as you continue now to take those substances, you trigger other induced disorders like schizophrenia.
That reminded me of the fun fact we just learned, that all antelopes, all gazelles are antelopes, but not all antelopes are gazelles. Okay. So mental health can cause substance abuse, and substance abuse can still cause mental health issues. Okay. Daktari, what is schizophrenia?
So schizophrenia is, I'll clarify it how the DSM-5 has done it. So you'll find someone has hallucinations, has delusions, has their speech kind of changes. But you can only diagnose someone who has schizophrenia if the symptoms has persisted for 6 months. So there's schizophrenia, there's schizoaffective. So the difference between the two of them is mood. So you'll find sometime one has, I was so happy, the next minute I was so low, and they have hallucinations, they have delusions, their speech is different, and also sometimes they get even irritable, like sometimes unapata wanapigana na mzazi nile wanapigana to a point wanapatiwa the shot and they are now calm. So those are the symptoms of schizophrenia.
Can I add one of the factors that I think it's majorly one of the biggest right now we're facing as Generation Gen Z is societal pressure.
Yes.
That's a big factor. Even I think within the course of this week, I've been having interaction with most of my friends about what's the difference between the previous generation and our generation. Is that previous generation during their age gap year time, wako 20 to around maybe 25, they did their mistakes and they picked themselves up. The problem with our generation is we don't want to do any mistakes. We just want to succeed. So we're giving ourselves too much pressure than giving ourselves enough grace for us to have our own mistakes, because there's no way you can finish fourth year kama umeingia sijui kakwa you have your own foundation or something. Some do, those who can. But most of us, you have to toil. You have to start from somewhere before getting to the top. The problem we're having right now is most of us just want to get to the top. There's no way you can get to the top if kakuna mtu mwingine akona 40 years of experience. Most of us were going to finish school like at around 20 something, 22, 23. You're finishing at 23, there's someone out there who's already doing their work. Maybe they're applying for a job the same way you're applying for the same job. Unfortunately, they will take someone who has experience than you. So we need to put ourselves in positions where we are mindful of how we care about ourselves and our journey. We need to understand that our journeys are never going to be the same. How I move, how she moves, we can't be the same. So we need to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. As long as you can pick yourself up and know how to move on, that's what matters. So societal pressure right now is the biggest thing with our generation. Yeah.
And you know that is the question I was about to ask. You are reading the next question. The next question was, how can cultural expectations and gender roles contribute to mental health issues? That was the next question, and I was going to direct it to you. So are you sure you didn't read
Yes,
it?
maybe I might have read. Okay, but yeah.
So would you like to expand on that?
Yes,
Like how can these cultural expectations and gender roles contribute to mental health issues?
Okay. So in African context, there are roles that we have set aside for men and for women. That's in as it is a really big factor when it comes to mental health space. So for example, let's take men. Men in our cultures are considered to be strong, to be stoic, to be the providers, and that in that nature makes them not be vulnerable. They don't like being vulnerable. It's rare for you to get a man coming to you and be like, oh, Aki, why she guy, let me tell you, Aki had a bad night and analia. Wongo. It's very rare. It's very. They don't like being seen vulnerable. They don't like sharing. Ni watu wa kusema wacha tujikaze kisabuni. I don't know even why we had that term. Like every time when a guy tries to express their emotions, everyone views them as weak, which is very wrong. I am a human being. He is a human being. We're supposed to made to feel less. Like all of us have our emotions and we process them very differently. But in African context, we've made that kind of disparity of if you're a man, behave this way, if you're a woman, behave this way. For women, we are viewed as caregivers, we are viewed as the people who hold a household. So you're supposed to take care of your kids, take care of your husband, take care of your boyfriend, take care of the house. Most of the time you forget taking care of for yourself. So you never practice self-care. You never like, let me take a Saturday as a break. I stay in the house, make my nails, do my hair, or maybe just read a book and just relax and sleep. Most of the time you're always active. So every day, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're just taking care of others. That means you're filling other people's cup, and now yours is running empty. Once your cup is empty, that means you can have anxiety. You start having anxiety, you start having depression, because now you'll end up feeling like you're caring too much about others, and others are not caring back. So when it comes to gender, especially in African context, mental health has a big challenge on balancing the two, male and female. So we need to have a level ground where all of us are equals. Like it doesn't mean because maybe you're a housewife and you're staying home that you don't have stressors. Atina mzee akienda like kazi atienda anapata stress. All of us should be cared for at the same level. So
Talking about being cared for at the same level, we were arguing with some guys about splitting 50-50. Oopsie! Because you say we need to be at the same level. Does that mean we as ladies should contribute 50% of the bills in the house?
Honestly, I feel like kila mtu ni kujijua, and it's all about you and your partner. You might, kuna watu wako na belief ya mtu akikuja na 1 million yake, huyu akuja na 1 million yake, tushikanishe kwa 2 million. Kuna mwingine anataka huyu akuja na 1 million, mimi nikosa kuja na yangu, wewe bora tutakula. Na kuna mwingine anasema tukuli mapenzi. So it's all about you and your partner and how you view life and how you want to move on forward. Because personally, if someone came up to me and told me, I want us to go here and here, maybe I have this amount, do you mind shipping in just for the Uber? If I genuinely do want to, I can. But if maybe I'm not in the right headspace too, I will just tell it as it is. So I think it's all about you and your partner and how you agree on stuff. Because there are people who are doing 50-50 out here, and it's not wrong. Let's not stop. It's not wrong. As much as we are having situations where we are trying to have the culture of men are the providers and the head of the family, it doesn't mean when ukiamua like maybe siwe in November, ukiamua ati in November ni mimi nitalipa wifi siye, haimanishi he's less of a man. So it's all about you and your partner and how you agree on things. Ni mambo ya watu wawili usiingilie.
So it's unique to every relationship.
Yes.
Wow, okay. Personally, I didn't believe in 50-50 until now.
We learn every day. We evolve every day. We get new ideas.
I think I'm more culturally oriented. I believe men should provide.
But also with that, I feel like it can still be 50-50. The man is bringing money. Maybe for you, your work is making sure that the house is clean. You're caring for the children. In a way, it's still 50-50. It's just that you're doing, different roles.
But basically, most of us women, we do believe that a man provides, the work is to multiply what he provides. So let's say, for example, if your man is giving you, let's say 10K for shopping. Kwa hiyo shopping, after you've done the shopping, so man multiply ka ukatengeneza chakula poa. You've done better. In terms of when people get married, and hapa ni mahali pa kuweka sasa PG. When you're now married, we believe that women are procreators, but you can't procreate without your man. Your man has provided a seed for you, the woman, to provide. That instance can also apply in life. So
it's still on 50-50. Okay, in our generation now, the way we are still in school, like, how can you date kijana ako hostel? None of you is working. All of you are depending on your parents. If your parents akikosa, mnalala chani wote. But you still want them to provide fully. You still want them to buy you 100 a bouquet of roses costing 30,000. You want them to take you to, big hotels. It's unfair.
It doesn't make sense.
Unrealistic.
So
definitely,
if none of you is working, none of you is earning, try to understand each other. Try to be there for each other. When you are lazy, if you're in a position to help them, help them. And if they're in a position to help you, they'll help you.
Okay. So even on dates, 50-50 is okay.
But I think man, date your type. Like don't also force yourself to be with someone and you're not feeling loved, because we all have different ways. Love languages. All of us are different. Una yenyewe inakupendeza, hainipendezi. So it doesn't mean because you found someone who's not yet stable in terms of finances, and you don't feel like you want to settle, then you settle. Date your type, stick into your lane. If that's what you want to go for it. That's why self-awareness is the best thing you can ever do. If you know this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna chase it. But at the end of the day, also be realistic with what you're chasing. This is let me text Elon Musk, hi. Why is she? Be realistic with our expectations. So I think when you go for your type, also be realistic with your expectations. Don't meet someone who is in uni, they're still trying to figure out life, even in terms of career, and you're expecting them to do it. Oh, why don't you have a car? Say, so I think we should push grace to everyone and just also understand ourselves and understand what we actually want and push ourselves towards it. We also don't encourage us being parasites.
Yeah.
Don't leech on people's money when you're not working for your own. There are people who want to push other people. Like, let's say you can meet someone who's maybe rich, you start dating, it's okay. It wasn't like intentional that you were actually looking for the person, they just came and they wanted to push you or rather elevate you in terms of your career or your businesses. It is fine, but learn to be also independent in what you want in life, not that every single time you want someone to do something for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. By the way, date your type. You might be someone who your love language is gifts and your boyfriend is broke. The broke one is trying.
Yeah,
broke one is trying.
Honestly, there are broke men who are pushing. Cause I think gifting isn't love languages. It's a matter of perspective. There's a person who can be gifted a rose. Amemkota tu hapa kwa barabara and it's very fresh and you'd feel loved. Kuna mwenye anaona hiyo ni upuzi. So it's all about perspective and how you view the form of love and also how you integrate and how much you actually love the person. Because it doesn't mean because they're broke, they're not doing, because there's a difference between being broke and lazy. Kuna mtu tu ni lazy, haufanyi and a broke person mtu atangana hata kama ni kwambie come tuende tukule chipo hapa tu chini. They are really trying to put in the effort. So it all comes to you respecting where you are in life, where they are in life, and understanding one another and seeing if there is potential. Because I think another issue is staying with someone na hamna direction. You also need to know, is there a future beyond east side mali tuko tukula chipo? Am I seeing ourselves in a flight mahali pale maybe the next 10 years? We have to see where we are going. It's not a now thing then ati baadaye you're like bye. Tunasemanga sisi madem hatuwezi kuwa of the builder. You can't meet someone and you're not seeing a future with and you're just building alafu bye bye. Yeah. So you need to be very strategic also on how you're building your relationships.
Talking of gender roles, now women in African culture, maybe just generally, women are the ones who carry the pregnancy, they nurture. So I saw a post one time of a guy confessing on TikTok that he married a beautiful lady with a nice figure, but after she gave birth, there were stretch marks all over her body, she added weight, and he was no longer attracted to this lady. So do these things affect ladies' mental health?
A lot.
Very, very much. I think it's so unfair that people don't get to understand the aspect of what birth does to your body as a woman. I'm not saying out of experience, unfortunately, but out of people's experience, I have seen what it does to relationships and marriages. A man anaona ameoa a body, amempata give like curvy figure. The lady gets pregnant, during the pregnancy, of course, your body starts to change. Kuna wengine mapua it's time to burst. Kuna wengine mwili inaongezeka. There are people who get like really glowy. Kuna wengine they break out. It depends with your body. They all react differently. So once you give birth, diet pay may change. It's not like like when you're not pregnant, and your body might not do the exactly the same. There are some who are lucky who if kama sami I'm small, maybe if I do give birth, maybe mwili inaweza rudi. Kuna wenye inakata. But in terms of relationships, men meet with boyfriends, meet with husbands. I think giving your partner grace, it's okay if you don't see them as attractive as before, but you didn't just marry their body. When you're falling in love with someone, I believe it's not just their body you're falling for. If it's your body you're falling for, then you lost. That's not love, that's just lust. For you to say you actually love someone, that means you're seeing beyond the flaws. Ni sawa amekuwa mkubwa, ni sawa amepata stretch marks. Some of them can be managed, some of them can't. Kitu kama mwili kwa kubwa naweza enda gym maybe and reduce over time. But stuff like stretch marks, rarely can they fade away completely. Or even the scars, if they went for
C-section.
For a C-section. Some scars don't heal completely, inaisha kabisa. And there are people who just generally start hating people for such kind of things. Honestly, that's so wrong. It's so hurtful because if you actually truly loved the person, it's not just their body that you like. You liked more. It's their character, it's their personality, it's the memories that you shared. It's not just about that's so wrong. So I think they should just give themselves, like their partners, grace and try to talk about it. Because I know men are visual creatures now. It is what it is. So them sitting down with their partners and discussing, would you like for us, like being also very intentional with your conversations, because I know conversations might come off very offensive, like always end up getting a demand at your Joel not of course it will come off offensive, like body shame. So I think having us sit down and knowing how you're understanding with your partner, because kuna vile mnaweza ongeleshana na feel kama like it's not that harsh. So getting an understanding and being very supportive, because huwezi kuwa unaniambia ati umenilipia gym membership na nisaidie tupige tizi tu what. So I think providing grace and also learning to see past what's actually there, because there's so much behind before this what you're seeing right now. It's just a flaw you're seeing right now. Beyond it, what's there? That's what's supposed to make you stay, not just a body. It's just a body. Isn't it vitu za dunia? Mwili mpya tutapatiwa mbinguni.
Okay. I would like to direct the next question to Lisa. How do you think social media, urban stress, and modern lifestyles contribute to anxiety or depression among youth today?
Wow, that is a lovely question, especially because we're in this age where social media is like our everything. Some people wake up, the first thing, TikTok, Instagram. Let me restore the streaks. Let me streak for today, you know. Even before you talk, even before you know you still have a voice, you go to social media. Let's be real, guys. Exactly. Anyway, so I feel like social media affects us a lot in this generation because, number one, we have people set unrealistic expectations and unrealistic lives for you to see. People try and show how happy, how successful, how perfect their lives are, you know, and it is a standard. Whether you, how would I put this? Whether you choose to conform or not to conform is up to you. But one thing we need to understand is social media is just literally here and then that's it, you know. What about your life, your routine? What about how you live your life, your school, your whatever, your grades, your everything, you know? It's just more than social media because we feel so much pressure by people's reels. We just want to try and match up, but that pressure, that to compare, it takes a toll on people. Even myself sometimes, you know, you look at people and you're like, damn, my shaumsi nakwanga perfect, you know, like they don't look like they have struggles, they don't look like they have issues. Unaangalia skin yao hata haibreakingi. Ukifikiria saa zingine uko, oh my goodness. But anyway, those are the unrealistic expectations that social media puts for us, and whether they have good intentions or not, we do not know. The other one was financial issues. And yes, it can take a toll on our mental health because maybe your parents are struggling. Right now we're students. Whether you're working, that could be an added advantage, but most of the students are not working. We solely rely. Thank you. Rely. We solely rely on our parents for everything. Fare kutoka kwa nyumba hadi shule, chakula utakula lunch, fare kurudi kwa nyumba, kama you're living in a hostel, the rent for the hostel, the Wi-Fi, the water, you know. So if your parents are struggling, to some extent even you will struggle because you're like, okay, sasa school fees ya next sem itatoka wapi, you know. And that can create a lot of anxiety. It can create a lot of tension. It can make you just become uneasy because it's not only for you, but also for your parents. And I know our parents like telling us, usitubebe mashida zetu, like don't carry our problems are ours to solve. But let's be real, sometimes these things also flow over to us because you see their struggle and you empathize with their struggle, and if you can do something about it, go get a job, well and good. But unemployment rates in our country, but anyway, story for another day. But yeah, so it can take a toll on your mental health. You can even develop anxiety. You can even start going to drugs, start developing substance use disorder because you're trying to run away from the reality. There is financial strain at home that this person is perfect in their highlighted reels of Instagram, you know. Yeah. Who was the last one?
The last one was modern lifestyles.
Modern lifestyles.
Yes.
Taona waishi hapa ametokelea the new G-Wagon and you're like, Mungu mimi na Mitsubishi yangu. You know?
Volkswagen.
Exactly. So modern lifestyles can also create a lot of issues. Also, let's talk about even something small like fast foods, honestly. People going to eat pizzas. Maybe I don't have the money for pizza, honestly. And I really want to sometimes people think that modern lifestyle is this grand living, but it can be something as small as food. Mimi kwa meza kila siku ni ugali skuma, ugali cabbage, ugali skuma, you know? And kuna mtu uko leo ako anyway. But such things can cause strain because, you know, you can even start developing low self-esteem because you're like, am I not as good as that one? Am I not as worthy? Am I not deserving like that one? And such questions will pile up and can create depression. You don't feel like you have a sense of living anymore. You don't feel like you can push on to the next day. So yeah, this modern lifestyle, social media and financial strain can have a huge impact on our mental health. Yeah, especially as young people.
I think currently there's this trend going on, two trends going on here. Involve me, and the other one, yeah, why can't I be like other children? That's combining this whole topic about social media, finances, and
modern lifestyle.
And modern lifestyle. I think as much as we are all doing this as memes, to some extent, it is stigmatizing people because we're not all the same. See, it doesn't mean because maybe you're using a techno iPhone better than the other. Life can change, tables can turn, and kila mtu akona preference. You might be preferring an iPhone, another person is preferring a Samsung. We're all different. So this trend has been, it's a funny trend, but the thing is, we need to know our limits to pushing it. Because when it starts, it's usually very subtle. But as it progresses, it means too much. Because now we're portraying that for you to live in Nairobi and be the baddies of the baddies, or be like the man or the ladies man, you have to have an iPhone, you have to have a wig, you have to know how to speak English, you have to go to the big clubs, you have to have a car as a guy, you have to know how to drip. It's your style. Let not people tell you that, oh, come on, suka braids that you're broke. Women pesa zako zimenilipia hizi braids. Say if we compare even wigs and braids, if you look good in a wig, that's okay for you. If you look good in braids, that's good for you. Whatever works for you, works for you. You shouldn't impose your own standards on others. Because maybe truly I'm into wigs, the other person doesn't like them at all. I shouldn't be like, oh, John on a wig, okay. You can't hang out with niggas on a wig. Oh, Ushaona iPhone. Says they hang out with John on iPhone. That's just imposing your own standards on others, which is not fair at all. And it brings a lot of issues in your self-esteem. Because you say, let's say the people who don't stay or school in Nairobi at all, and maybe university in later Nairobi. So you're coming from wherever, Sharks, just anywhere away from Nairobi. You're coming to Nairobi, you want to make friends. You are going to find it so difficult. Because if everyone is there setting up a standard for you, you're like, who do I follow, who do I do? And you end up losing yourself. Because now you start behaving like the peers you are around with than the actual self. You end up losing yourself in the middle of trying to prove yourself that I belong in this group. I belong in this group. We should know that belonging is not a group thing. You make your own belonging. If I find a group of 20 friends, si lazima wote wanipe. Hata Yesu akupendwa na kila mtu. So why are you trying to push for you to be loved by everyone or be seen by everyone? In a whole university, like our whole university, I can't say I know everyone, and not everyone is my friend. I have very few friends. I know my circle of friends, and those are friends that I can depend on, and we are like teaching each other. We are feeding from each other's cup. So we need to understand that we can never be the same, and we are supposed to give ourselves grace of our own journeys. Kaa una iPhone sasa hivi, maybe hata next month unaweza kuwa na mwezi ujao. Sasa naweza amua Christmas shika hivi. So we need to understand that we are all different. Na life hutupiga pia differently. Kuna mtu atakuwa amesota leo, kesho ashaamka ako na 10k kwa M-Pesa. Unaweza sota kwa whole year na uwezi jua mtoto yote 10k. So we need to understand life will happen differently for everyone. I think most of my friends are just kind of saying life is like rice. Inaishia hapo because literally it's like rice, you can't even understand it. Yeah. You can't understand rice? Okay. Inafuata aje kwa sababu
Unataka na comment moja in a double. How?
In a double. Okay, 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water.
Hata mwenye alisema hiyo 2 cups of water alijua aje imefika hivyo ndio uweze kubalance. Sasa mimi nakasanga kuiva na hiyo 2 cups.
True, you can the brand. You can never go wrong with rice. There's pishori, there's basmati.
What makes pishori? What makes basmati?
I think the seed.
Okay.
The kind of seed. What is low? And on that note, dear iPhone users, we as Android users, we have agreed. We will not beg you for our photos. If you take us photos with your phone, we will use our Android. Yeah, we are taking care of our mental health. Because we beg you, my photos. So we will use our Androids.
Before you go to the next question, on that whole social media thing, I feel like it's also contributing to moral factors, where people are willing to go beyond their values, beyond their dignity, to afford that lifestyle that is being portrayed on social media. And I remember one thing that my therapist told me, like, if social media is not a source of inspiration, or rather if you see it, it's like you're competing with those who are there, leave. Leave. Delete Instagram, delete TikTok, go find yourself first. Go learn to appreciate yourself, to love yourself with what you have. Because people are doing crazy things.
True. Very
doing crazy things. Like, you'd rather be seen with a married man, a very old man, and fads.
Until they die on you.
You know, is it really worth
By the way, you've seen that story of this Nigerian actress Regina Daniels?
Yeah.
You've seen that story?
Yeah.
Others.
I just want to add on as well that trends change. You know, you try and follow the trends, and then tomorrow it's something completely different. For example, the whole BBL thing. Trust me, a time is gonna come where people are gonna look at you and be like, what is that? And I think it's even starting already, you know, and people are regretting doing those changes because they want to fit into a certain lifestyle. And it ends up affecting your mental health at the end of the day, because now it's like, at some point everybody loved you, and then one day you're going to wake up and nobody is going to back you up on whatever you're doing.
And our generation is so good with cancel culture, you know.
Exactly.
We love you. The next thing we will show you, we will drag you through the process, and we will leave you to die on your own.
You don't really care.
We hop on to the next year.
Okay, now that we have addressed the contributing factors, now we find the solution. The coping and self-care approaches. I'll direct the first question to Ushe. What practical self-care activities can young people adopt to maintain positive mental health?
Well, I would like to start off by saying that self-care doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to go to a spa where you pay, 10,000 for them to give you a massage. It's just those everyday activities that you can do to just take a break from everything around you. So it can be just putting your phone aside, going off of social media maybe for a couple of hours, or taking a walk, maybe journaling. If you're a prayer person, prayer itself is part of self-care. And so I think the main thing here with self-care is that we're saying you need to remind yourself that you are a human, you're going to get tired, and so you need to be intentional about taking time out, taking a break, and just letting yourself rest. Like, just pause, you know. And I think another thing is, for me, doing the things that you love, doing the things that make you happy, that just make you feel relaxed, that's a big part. If it's listening to music, listen to music. If it's dancing, or if it's hanging around with your friends, if you have those kind of people that can create a safe space for you, they can create a space where you can just laugh and forget about every trouble that you have in the world, then do that. So yeah, I think people try to sometimes overcomplicate things when you talk about self-care, but it's really just those small, simple things that will really make a big difference in your mental health.
I'd like to add, I'm sorry, I know someone who says that self-care is through bathing. Kuoga. Maji ya karai. You know? So just to back up what Ushi has said, it doesn't have to be grand. It's this, because you'd find sometimes she says, I am so tired today, I've not even showered, I've not bathed, you know, and that's showing you that she has not had time for herself. So something small as just preparing your meal, you know, cooking, just being there, being present for yourself, showering, buying this nice soap that smells nice when you leave the bathroom, you're like, such things, that is self-care.
It doesn't have to be expensive.
Exactly.
I can add something on that. If you won't take care of yourself, you'll get burnout. And you know, like when your body starts to get tired, it actually shows signs, but a lot of people like don't listen to it. Like unaona leo unaamka you're like watu wa gym jamani basi let me not attack. But you know, how you take care of yourself, it can actually damage your physical health, because you find people like collapsing, you find people like magonjwa zingine unge avoid too, but you just didn't because you didn't take care of yourself. Even spending time with your family, just small things, like even to you share things and you're like, finally there's something out of my system. Because you find when you just talk to your friend, everything like pressure inapungua all of a sudden. So even small thing, journaling, when you feel like the world is too much, when you just journal about it, the way Oshi had said about praying, there's a way you pray and you feel like unalia tu yako yote, unatoka hapo tu nikuwa na nguvu ya and you continue with life. So like take care of yourself, avoid burnout, because your mental health is linked to your physical health.
Wow, that's great. And I think someone else said, before I asked the question, you guys are reading mine. Phyllis said about deleting social media if you feel like it's putting so much pressure on you. So I think that is one of the factors. So as we come to the end of our show, I would like Jewel to close for us and final reflections. So Jewel, what message would you give to someone struggling with depression or anxiety but afraid to seek help?
Okay, that's a deep one. And I'll say like, your feelings are valid. Vulnerability is not a weakness, and it should be your strength. So don't die peke yako. Don't withdraw yourself from society. Don't be hopeless. We are here as the future psychologists. You can choose your support system to be there for you. It will actually help. So don't usijitupe from people. Don't usijifungie tu kwa bedroom, like uanze kufikiria ways of doing suicide. So your feelings are valid and we love you. We love you.
Okay, thank you so much, our viewers, that is raw and real for you. We keep it raw and we keep it real. I was Daisy Evans, your host, with my co-host, Ushe, Joy, Phyllis, Lisa, and Jewel. See you on the next episode. Bye.